Welcome to the SuperCoach Premium Show for 2015. We are back for a new year. We've got a new name, a new logo. We're back at the same bar, but still us plebs, we're still here to keep you entertained for the entire SuperCoach year. And of course, my name's Paige, and I'm joined by these boys, Mick, Damon, and Joyce has joined us all the way from Sydney. So we've got a full board today, so obviously it's going to be a great episode. And today, we're going to be checking out the Rucks.
Yes, we are. Sam Jacobs, first off, the most expensive ruckman that we're looking at. Who's going to talk about that?
I am indeed, Joyce. Now, he was one player I was looking at, but yes, you just did mention it there from the top. He is quite pricey there. At 620,100 with an average of last year going into this year of 115.36. So he was absolutely the most dominant ruckman in the competition because he won the most hit-outs overall and also the most hit-outs to advantage. So this guy is at a premium, so he speaks for himself. If you're after a premium ruckman, go for him.
Yeah.
And one thing that we must mention from the top is that with this new SuperCoach season, there's new rules. Would you like to explain them, Paige?
The new rules, of course. So it means picking your ruckman are more important now than ever. Okay, so you're getting 5 points for an advantage, hit out to advantage. So not like it in days before where if you just get your hit out, you win a point. It's not like that anymore. If you get 5 hit outs, for example, mathematics man at the end.
Right, hit 5 hit outs to advantage, 25 points.
Perfect. There you go. So if Sam Jacobs has gone berserk in the first quarter and has got himself 5 hit outs to advantage, 25 points. And we all know if we're tracking on a 25-point average across 4 quarters, we're looking at a 100-plus score. But, of course, if your ruckman hits the ball out and it lands in the arms of an opposition player, that is to disadvantage, which will mean a deduction of 1 point. So, based on the efficiency rules of SuperCoach, that's why the new rules come in. But, of course, if it's a neutral ball, there's absolutely no points for either ruckman.
Yep, and just on that as well, with Sam Jacobs, he had 257 hit-outs to advantage, which means if this rule was in place last season, he would have received, instead of 257 points, 1 point per hit-out, he would have received 1,285 points.
Massive.
Over 1,000 extra points.
1,000 extra points. That is massive.
So if that doesn't basically convince you to start Sam Jacobs, you're not doing SuperCoach well then, I reckon.
And I think that's a good reason to avoid Sandilands as well, because a lot of teams actually try and read his tap-outs because he's just such a man-mountain, basically. So
good point.
Lots of -1s for you, Sandy.
Yeah, that's it. But Matthew Cruz has been someone who's been having a pretty good preseason, hasn't he, Joyce?
Yes, he has, and he's priced pretty low as well, 370. So a bit of a bargain for your man, Cruiser.
Yes, he is more.
He only averaged 69 though last year from the one game, and no discount, which I'm pretty angry about. But he had his season brought down by injury. And like we said, he's got a bargain price. But in 2013, he was able to score quite well. I mean, he had lofty scores of 140, 138, 136 throughout the year. So we know he's got a high ceiling. And that's maybe why you would choose him over your Leuenbergers and that sort of thing. So, yeah, good signs from Cruiser there.
Yeah, I'd definitely go for him as well. But the one thing for me, I've actually got him on my side, so I'm going to stick with him. But the one thing for me is that Mick Malthouse has said that when he's not playing in the ruck, he's going to play out forward. So that might sort of bring down his ceiling a bit. He's tried to have been played in the forward line in the past, but of course with injuries and stuff, it's kind of stunted his development up forward. But I mean, I'm still going to go with him. He's a bargain pick, and I think he's more reliable, fitness-wise, than Leuenberger.
And hopefully with getting Liam Jones as well, he'll spend a little bit less time in the forward line because you've got him to...
Yeah, less reliance on him having to push forward.
Yeah, which is always good. And yeah, as well, Carlton played Richmond in round 1 and he always thrashes Richmond. So I don't think... I've got Cruiser in my team. I don't think I'll keep him for the whole year. I think I'll give him 6 rounds, and if he's just doing okay, I'll try and upgrade him at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, another ruckman to take a look at is Naitanui. Now, obviously, had an average of 90 last year, which is pretty impressive considering he played 14 or 15 games. It was pretty injury ravaged, basically. He was very inconsistent last year, which saw him, which means, he will start at 488k. So pretty cheap in comparison to what he produced in 2012 when he's All-Australian, when he was averaging in excess of 110 that was for the season, but most weeks he was scoring over 120 easily. So we know what he's capable of. Now that he's injury-free, Dean Cox has left the club as well. That number 1 spot opens up for Nick Nat. So I think he's a really good get here. And we like players in SuperCoach, particularly in our ruck division, that can shoulder the ruck load by themselves. And when we talk about the new rules that come into effect, that's only going to really help ruckman that ruck solo. So Nick Nat for mine's great. I mean, look, in particular, he is actually injury-free at the moment. He's been training really well. He's very fresh, and I think he's going to have a good year. And I think West Coast are going to probably climb the ladder a little bit this year too. So a bit more importance and reliance on Nick Nat. But I mean, what do you guys think? 488k, he's much cheaper than obviously the other premiums we've spoken about and going to be speaking about. I mean, he's got to be in everyone's thinking at least.
He's in my team.
Well, he's in my team at the moment for sure. It's my second ruckman.
He's definitely one of the more physical ruckmen. He's got an average of 9.4 contested possessions per game last season, which was, I think, the top or maybe the second top.
Yeah, for the Rucks.
ruckmen.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty good. You wouldn't want to be in the way of him when he's
Kicked the
running
point
out.
of the century as well.
Well, I mean, look, in saying that, a ruckman that wins contested possessions, clearances and impacts at the 1%ers, that sort of stuff that only midfielders and defenders actually really do. So to be getting that from your ruckman, you're getting obviously the bonus of having hit outs to advantage, as well as his ability to lap up those possessions around the ground, reap in the contested possession, and also go forward to kick goals. So I think he's a really good pick. If you want to save a bit of cash, I mean, he's 100 grand less than Goldstein and those guys as well.
Jacobs,
so, if you're looking to save a little bit of cash in your ruck line, I think Nick Nat's a great way to go about it.
Yeah, talking about, well, not saving cash, but premiums in your ruck division. Shane Mumford. Can't go past him now.
Oh, he burnt me
He's a
last
big boy.
year. He got me bad.
He did burn Paige, definitely. But look, if you weren't one of the unlucky ones to have started with him and then lost him after a few rounds and
AKA me, that's right. Let's just talk about me.
Lost a lot of points and failed to trade him and just kept
him around for
holding on
6
to
weeks.
him coming back. Then look, we got to face it. He probably would have been the number 1 ruckman had he not gotten injured.
Very true.
Saying that though, can he withstand injuries again this year? He's not really holding up that way. But he is a bit of a man mountain, like you were saying before about Zenlin. So with the new ruck rules coming in and hit outs to advantage, he's got to be your number 1 pick. I reckon personally. One thing that I found interesting though about him was that when he comes up against teams with a good ruck duo, well, West Coast previously, Adelaide and Freo I've got here. So West Coast, he has an average of 72, Freo an average of 82, and Adelaide an average of 69.
Wow.
So
Dinner for 2.
So you probably want to just be cautious of that.
Okay.
But apart from that, this guy's the complete package.
I do like as well that he came out in the media and said recently that he is feeling as fresh as he was before he left Geelong to go to the Swans. His knee is fine, his back is fine. He hasn't missed a session, he said. And that's obviously going to be good news for Supercoaches. Perhaps not me, because we've broken up, Mumford and I, and we're not going to have Mumford and Sons anymore. So. Oh, look at that. That was good. That was very good.
I was saying because it was that cringeworthy. But
anyway. But look,
Speaking about, with Mumford and shouldering the ruck load, I mean, they just traded out Jonathan Giles, so he's going to be shouldering a lot of the ruck load.
Yeah,
so.
and again, coming back to that point of having those ruckmen that do shoulder the ruck load is always a good thing in Supercoach. But look, there are other people to consider, and we'll rally off a few at the moment. Todd Goldstein.
The Super Jew.
My man.
The Super Jew, according to Joyce. Thanks, Joyce. Well, he's going to be bobbing up in quite a few teams as well. He was fantastic last year. It was one of the most owned ruckmen. Very consistent.
Yep.
I was
like
very
him.
close to putting him in my team, and he's still on the edge for me.
I'm going to throw a couple to you, and you guys can tell me what do you think. Well, Mick, Matt Lobe, and Paddy Ryder. Now they're teammates.
Yeah, no. Paddy Ryder for me. Lobe's been good though.
Lobe was top 5 hit-outs.
Yeah, definitely.
Underrated.
Breakout season last season, but still, Paddy all the way. He's my man.
And Joyce, tell me, Matthew Leuenberger, Stefan Martin,
Can Martin back it up?
Is Martin going to? I mean, he's over 600 grand, man.
Yeah.
He's very pricey.
No,
I wouldn't even
chance.
consider him whatsoever. But I mean, is Leuenberg going to come back in and take his spot? Is Leuenberg, if you're in that position where you've got that mid-price pick, and I think Louis is about 270 odd, and obviously Cruz is a little bit more.
Yeah.
Who would you be looking for out of Cruiser and
I've
Louis?
gone with Cruiser just because I think he plays well against the teams that he comes up against earlier in the season. And while I think Brisbane are going to do a lot better this year than their ladder placing in previous years, I think they might even go for top 8. I don't think the ruck division is where it's going to happen. So,
okay,
avoiding.
To wrap up just finally.
Well, you forgot one very special person.
Oh, no.
Your personal
I knew
favourite.
this was going to happen. We talked about it in pre-production. Don't mention him.
He's only been on the
Well,
run sheet.
he doesn't need to be mentioned because everybody knows who I'm talking about because he is the number one ruckman. Yeah, I think the other two have played the game. So
Plays for Melbourne.
Can
that's
you
all we need to
alert
say.
the good folk of who we're talking about?
obviously Mark Jamar.
Mr. Jamar.
Mr. Jamar.
I don't even know what his price is.
Did I even need to say his
Hello
name?
to you, Mr. Jamar, if you're watching.
Or otherwise known as God.
God. Well, as we said, wrapping up here anyway.
Can we take a rating for J-Mar?
No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Dan?
Mick,
No,
it's
Put it up
3
on the
thumbs up.
website,
if you
shall we? And,
That's,
get
okay,
everyone to vote.
we'll put up a poll and we'll get a bit of backing from that. But, as I said, for the third time, to wrap up, these are the players we've each picked of the players that we're definitely going to be starting with this year. Now, currently, in your starting 2 ruckman gentlemen, who are your current rucks at the moment? Mick, we'll start with you.
Ryder and Mumford.
Ryder and Mumford. Joyce?
I think I'm the same as this guy. Cruiser and Naitanui.
Cruiser
Exactly,
and Nick Nat?
yep.
Well, I have gone Jacobs and Nick Nat.
Set
and forget strategy for me this year. But
money.
look, until next time, we've previewed the ruck division. You can see at the bottom here of the show today, there's going to be more links linking you to more player comparisons on the SuperCoach page website and much more information there. But until then, thank you very much to Bar 94 for again hosting us. You'll see us next with our next line preview, which is going to be, well, midfielders, isn't it? Midfielders, there you go.
Yeah.
So until then, thank you very much. We've been the SuperCoach Premiums, rather. We are the ones you want in your side.